Okay, so let's have a look at another question you put up on Facebook. This one over here, 2a. If p equals 2 and q equals 8, evaluate the expression 4q minus p all over p plus q. So there's a couple of things that you might be tripping up and wondering about. One of them is this word here, evaluate, and evaluate is just a fancy way of saying work out. Basically what it is I can't remember when, but they wanted to increase the literacy skills in maths, and so they have to put in some fancy words. But all that means is work out, so we can just kind of ignore that. So, the skill we're working on here is substitution. And that means replacing the p values they have in the equation, and the p and the q values that you have in the equation, and replacing them, the p and the q values you have in the question, and replacing them into the expression down here. So every time you see a p, you're going to want to replace that with a 2. And every time you see a q, you're going to want to replace that with an 8. So with that in mind, let's rewrite this expression here, but without any p's and q's, and replacing them for 2's and 8's, okay? So let's rewrite this. So 4q, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 4 brackets, and instead of q, I'm going to put an 8. Okay, so whenever you see a number on the outside of a letter, put a 4 brackets or a number brackets. So 4 brackets 8 minus, instead of p, I'm going to put a 2. I'm going to have that all over p, instead of p I'm putting a 2, plus q, instead of q I'm putting an 8. Okay, so that's the expression, but rewritten with our numbers substituted in. Okay, so let's kind of work out what this means. So in the brackets, if you ever see a brackets, that's whatever's inside the brackets multiplied by whatever's outside the brackets. So we're going to rewrite this whole expression. 4 times by 8 is 32, minus 2. And then what's 2 plus 8? That's 10. Okay, we can take this one step further by simplifying the top. What's 32 subtract 2? Is 30, and it's all over 10. Okay, and our last step is to do 30 divided by 10. 30 divided by 10 equals 3. So our answer to the question, using p equals 2 and q equals 8, evaluate 4q minus p all over p plus q, is 3. So that's actually quite simple. So I'm just going to talk you through that again. You might be asked, or you might have some questions where this is left as a fraction. That's absolutely fine. But let's talk again how we went through that. So what we did is we substituted our p's and our q's into the equation. And then we multiplied out any brackets that we have. So just here. And then we just did the sum. So we did 32 minus 2 all over 10, which is 30 over 10. 30 over 10 is 3. So hopefully that helped. What I've done is I've put a second example, similar example on this right-hand side for you to have a go at. So if you pause the video here, have a go at it, then play the video once you're done, and I'll quickly whiz through the answers. Okay? So pause the video here and have a go at that question. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at that question there. So let's go through it quickly. So if d equals 3, and e equals 7, evaluate 5d minus e all over d plus 2e. Okay, so wherever there's an e, we're going to put a 7. And whenever there's a d, we're going to put a 3. So let's rewrite this. So 5d, 5 lots of d, so that's 5 brackets. And instead of d, we're going to put 3. Minus e, instead of e, we're going to have 7. All over d, instead of d, we're having 3. Plus 2 lots of e, so 2 brackets, and instead of e, we're having a 7 there. Now our next step is to multiply out our brackets, so whatever's in the inside, we times by whatever's on the outside. So 5 times by 3 is 15, we have minus 7, all over 3 plus whatever's on the inside, we times by the outside, so 2 times 7 is 14, like so. Now our next step is to do these sums. So 15 take away 7 gives us 8. and 14, or 3 plus 14, gives us 17. Now we can't simplify this any further, so that's our final answer there, 18 over 7. So if you got that, that's fantastic. Sometimes they do go down into a nice integer like that, but in this example it didn't. So if you got that, fantastic.